Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhi Tamastuma Vidvishavahai Shanti 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 Om Yo Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Vashe Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stushtvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedha Swasti Nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vansharshibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyah Sarvopaplavarahitah Pragnanaganah Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi Om Shanti 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 Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Last time we were discussing this Vedic Shanti mantra Purnamadaha Purnamidam. We began the discussion with the subject Aham and Idam. Idam means this. When you say this, means that which is present or that which is seen, that which is here. Something which is near. Generally it is used. Far also can be near relatively. When you see a sun and say this star, this sun is idam compared to the stars in the Milky Ways and the stars beyond our Milky Ways. So primarily this idam refers to something which is near to the perceptible, the person who perceives. Now, to say this is near, there should be a person, and I find myself as a cognitive being who is constantly knowing the world, who is constantly gaining the knowledge about the world. Now, I keep relating to the world in waking state as well as in dream state. You relate to something other than yourself. Like even now, this mobile, this car, this shirt or t-shirt that you are wearing, or this house in which you are living, this table, this chair, so many things are these. All are idam pratyaya vishayaha. They are the objects of cognition as this. What is referred as this? That cognition, this cognition, its object is this entire world. Now, here we just mentioned last time, now we'll continue further. It seems that we are dealing with the world, but it's not the world that which we deal with. We primarily deal with our cognition. We need to analyze our cognition as to how to deal with it. And primarily, these cognitions and the cognition based my response, cognition based response is threefold. And sometimes the very cognition itself is threefold. And therefore, the response is threefold. One is objective, second is subjective, and third is objective, subjective both. Partially objective, partially subjective. While I am traveling on road, to see the car coming from opposite direction or the car in the same direction and negotiate and overtake or slow down or whatever is an objective cognition. You dealt with it objectively. But to see subjective means to see the object something other than what it is, based on your background. Classic example is seeing a snake in place of rope. Seeing a rope as a rope is objective, but seeing a snake in place of rope is subjective cognition. And you deal with that cognition. And therefore there is a fear, nivritti, tendency to run away, tendency to move away, and tendency to protect myself. You want to act it out to protect yourself because there is a snake. Third is subjective, objective both. When you buy a car, and suppose you have to travel a lot and you need a bigger car so that you leg room and rest, and especially in India, you have a driver and then you want backseat little comfortable and you buy it. That's a very comfortable car. That's objective. But this is high-end car. I am in that class. This has this particular logo, Mercedes Benz or Sports or whatever. There is objective, subjective, mixed perception. This is how you deal even with money. There is objective perception and subjective also. Money is a buying power. I want to live a comfortable life. I want to buy few things. Therefore, I need money. And I want it. That's fine. And I have money. But to start seeing money as a status symbol, or to see the money as a source of security, this is objective, subjective. Now, when we have to deal with people, more so with the people whom I am close with, closer I am in terms of relation, there is more subjectivity gets into it. Other person may not be like that. But then this person feels that the other guy is like that. And therefore, often it happens, let us discuss. And they keep discussing and discussing all the time. And most of the time, the person has a complaint, you don't love me, you don't respect me, you don't have a value for me. Why do so many things for you? I have given my 25 years for you. I don't want to do anything more because you don't care, blah, 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 goes on. And there is a discussion and discussion and discussion. And at the end of the discussion, the bottom line is only that. The other person has to assure that I love you and I value you very much. You are an important person in my life. That's all. This is called setting of the person, you know. Because of our own subjective thinking, perception, you set up the other guy. Or vice versa, the other person has done so much for me, set up the person. Any bond, emotional relationship, human mind tend to be more subjective in relating with. And in one word, if I say subjectivity in relation is finding incompleteness in the person and the relationship. Seeing the relationship to be insufficient. Seeing the other person as lacking. Either way, lacking in his abilities and qualities, the other person may feel you are useless, I don't care for you. Because you don't know anything, you don't know anything. Or that person lacks in appreciating me. Idam is always found to be lacking, never purnam in relationship. Any which way relationship may be. And you find yourself to be discomfortable, uncomfortable in relationship. And you have no choice but to relate to the world. And in relationship, that person is lacking, incomplete, relation is incomplete, and I am certainly incomplete. I am never Purna. I am Apurna. The fact that the person feels Apurnatvam, insufficiency, lack, that's why person is seeking something from other person, wanting something from other person. And the idam is so big, it is endless. Beginning from relationship onwards to whole world. And when you see them objectively, when you relate them objectively, then you are comforted. Mountains, sunset, sunrise, ocean, even your pet, you just deal objectively. This is how it is. And you enjoy the company of the pet animal. Whether sometimes you are objective, you enjoy, but there is subjectivity also. People comes to subject. That means you are uncomfortable. And there is always a feeling that fellow doesn't know anything. He or she always makes a mess of the thing. I am worthless because of that person. My life has gone west because of that person. The other person is intimidating me. All kinds of feelings. Shastra says, Purna Madaha, Purna Midam. Now, Adaha, Ada's word is a synonym for Adaha. Adas in Sanskrit is Tat. It is Na Purovartini Vastu. It is that which is not in front of you. not near the speaker. The one who says that, it is not near. And generally used for that tat. And when I say tat, it means Ishvara, Tattvamasi. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate. Adaha, this word idam, what you call idam is Purnam, and that is also Purnam. Now the question comes, first of all, just now we discussed there is one I who is cognitive I. I find myself as a cognitive person. This cognitive person is insufficient. Then he says there is a world, idam, and there is a that, tat, the Ishvara, whom we call it, is Purnam. How can there be three infinity? If it is an infinity, there cannot be three. It can be only one. If this is Purnam and that is Purnam, and the second line is more confusing. I mean, second half of the mantra, first line. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate. From fullness, this fullness has comes out. So from that which is full, from that this fullness has come out, and therefore this is full, that is full, and everything is full. This is Panditji's translation, Puja Swami used to tell a story about Kashi Pandit explaining to Englishmen. I will not get into it because it will take 10-15 minutes. But this is full, that is that, this is full, that is full. From that full, this full comes out. An Englishman understood. Not only I am full, but this fellow is also full. Only spelling change. F-U-L-L, it became F-O-O-L. Fullness. This fellow wanted to understand. Englishman read the translation. How can this fullness brings out fullness, and everything is fullness, fullness. That is, this is full and that is full, and from that fullness, this fullness comes out. And Panditji literally translated and explained in his own way. And then he asked him, did you understand? He says, now I understand. Not only I am full, you are also full. But the spelling changes. It is not F-U-L-L, it is F-O-O-L. Now, the second half of the mantra explains why that this is full and that is full. And the third factor, why I am also full. See, he says, Purnat Purnamudachyate. From fullness, fullness comes out. Now, if there are two fullnesses, if at all there is a grammatically correct plural of fullness, which is not there, and there is a separation we are talking, that fullness is a cause of creating this fullness. If there are two fullness, or if there is a separation between two fullness, it's only a point of view. What is a point of view? Coming out of a fullness, from the fullness, is a point of view. Coming out of fullness, from fullness, is a point of view. In other words, or if I use the modern word, that fullness which comes out from the other fullness, that fullness that has come out is only a value addition. Then fullness can come out from fullness. And therefore, this is full, and that is also. How do I say so? Please understand. What do I mean by value addition? Our Puja Swamiji's good old example. Suppose I have 1 ton of gold. Now we have to imagine, because today's gold price being what it is, every day in India, there is a front page news. Gold price has jumped by 10% and 7% and 3%, and it keeps on jumping. So you have to imagine 1 ton of gold. And from 1 ton of gold, you make 100,000 ornaments. This fellow sees these 100,000 ornaments. Okay? And he says, where from this came? This 100,000 ornaments is weighed, and he finds it is 1 ton of gold. And if he asks from where this has come about, the answer would be, this 1 ton ornament has come out from 1 ton gold. What has come out, what is produced, is only value addition, is only name and form that has come out. Nothing else. What is added to 1 ton gold? Ekameva dvitiyam 1 ton suvarnam. It was one non-dual 1 ton gold, and then it has been converted into 100,000 pieces of gold. How? How did you divide 1 ton? How one non-dual 1 ton gold became 100,000 bangles and chains and earrings and armlets and anything, so many things it became. How did it become? How it got into it? The answer is, only one thing is created, name and form. New forms are created, and therefore new names are given. At the same time, you cannot deny the existence of Bengal. Bengal has a Vyavaharik Satta. It is useful in your day-to-day life. To wear something on your hand, you need a bangle. To wear something on your fingers, you need a ring. To wear something on your neck, you need a chain. So that chain cannot be worn in a finger, on a finger, and much less you can wear the bangle on the neck. You cannot. It has some usefulness, utility. Upyogita, you call it. It is required also, that shape is required in Vyavahara. But then, from the standpoint of view of the essence, from the truth, what it was, that it is now. Okay? It was 1 ton gold, and as of now also, it is only and only 1 ton gold. And you can say, this 100,000 has come about, from that 1 ton gold. This 1 ton has come out from that 1 ton. And since even if 1 ton has come out, what remains is only 1 ton gold. Because it is just a limitation of the language. You have to use the word. We are constrained to use 2 pronouns, gold and ornaments. 100,000 ornaments have come about from 1 ton gold because in Vyavahara, what is useful, what counts is only ornament, and therefore you use 2 nouns, saying that from that 1 ton, this 1 ton has come about. And therefore, this is 1 ton, and that is also 1. Here, when I use the pronoun this 1 ton ornaments, or when I use the pronoun that 1 ton gold, it is just a separation, a standpoint of view. Are these ornaments in any which way separate from gold? No, they are not. So also, so-called this is never ever separate from that. And therefore, coming out is only a point of view. Understand? Ornaments coming out of a gold is a point of view. Therefore, Vedanta, Upanishad don't say that there is a creation. It is only manifestation. 100,000 ornaments are created, we say. The correct sentence would be gold, 1 ton gold manifests now as 100,000 ornaments. But while it is manifesting as 100,000 ornaments, it is 1 ton. It was 1 ton gold. It is 1 ton gold. And it will be 1 ton gold in future also. The division or separation or 2 pronouns of ornaments and the gold are used is just a point of view. What is that point of view? And that point of view is from the name and form point of view. When you view gold from the standpoint of forms, names and forms, then you say 100,000 ornaments. But if you look at it from the gold point of view, it is 1 ton gold manifesting itself as 100,000 ornaments. Same thing. No difference. One vastu alone appears as many. There is no Veda in it. There is an apparent creation of ornament. Understand apparent. When I say apparent, is only name and form. So when you say Purnamadaha Purnamidam, this is also Purnam. When you say this, generally we think anything outside body is this. No. This body also is this. This mind, this cognition, these emotions, this prana, everything is this. And so-called this is nothing but name and form. What it is vastu gold. So also what it is sad vastu. Therefore there is Upanishad mantra, Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asi. In the beginning of the creation, there was only one Sat, non-dual Sat. Though Upanishad says before creation, the word, please understand, there is no creation. If you say before creation there was only Sat, that means after creation what it is? There is something Sat plus something, or the Sat is reduced little bit because its creation came out of it. Its quantity has gone down. No. Before and after and while is only from the standpoint of name and form. Before the creation of 100,000 ornaments, there was only gold. That means what? Now there is not only gold, it is only gold only, plus name and form. Therefore, I said it is value addition. Ornament fetches little more value in Vyavahara than the gold itself. But nothing has been created. Forms have been created, and those created forms have been given different names. And what is the creation? If it is name and form, it is called mithya. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. From fullness, the fullness has come out. That means what you see as limited is ultimately fullness. Okay? Is not separate from it. Whatever is limited is nothing but superimposition of name and form on that limitless. Whatever you call a simple ornament, this bangle only, this much only, that is only superimposition of name and form. It is gold, 24 karat gold. So, from the standpoint of their nature, both are same. But from the standpoint of name and form, one originates from the other. Like a wave and ocean. Wave is water. Ocean is water. From the standpoint of their nature, Swarupataha, both are water. But from the standpoint of the name and the form, Namarupataha, wave comes out from the ocean. So that I, the individual, from the standpoint of individuality, that individuality is caused by body, both Sthula Sukshma Sharira. From the standpoint of the individuality, this individual has come out from the total. But then, Vyashtinama Rupa has come out of Samashtinama Rupa. Sharira Drashtya, from the standpoint of body, what we call it Upadhi. Upadhi Drashtya, from the standpoint of Upadhi, this is Karyam, this has come out. From what? Samashti Upadhi. Samashti Sharira Paramatma, Samashti the Upadhi, Maya Shakti Upahita Paramatma. But Swarupata, both are nothing but Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. Yatha, that wave and ocean are nothing but H2. Please remember this. Don't stretch this example further. Sometimes you try to explain something with the help of example and try to fit in all the aspects of the example to what it is given, for what it is given. Never do that, because it is not true, because all aspects cannot fit in. And from the example also you cannot disprove it. When we say this, that it is H2O and that is H2O, then these Dvaitins have an argument. That is true, but this is little H2O. There is only small quantity H2O. Ocean is limitless quantity H2O. So Jiva and Ishvara are same, but this, like a wave, is a part of the total. So you are Amshaha of Ishvara. And the Pramana, they quote this 15th chapter verse. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana manashasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati amsaha. You are a part. Please understand. Because we think in terms of space and time. Space and time itself is a creation. All the examples that I can give is always limited by space and time, and any object in space and time has to be limited. And therefore limited when compared with the total, you will find this is Amsa only. It is not the point, quantity of water. The Swarupa is a point. It is H2O, that is H2O. And you have to imagine that just as though you are in the midst of the ocean, you have not seen the land. It is all the way water, water, water. Samsara is compared with Sagara. It is this reason. Just visualize, and if you can't visualize, see some of these serials on National Geographic. In the midst of the ocean, you don't know where is east and where is north and south and west and where will be the coast. Nothing. It's almost endless. And to reach to that proper direction, you don't know which is the right direction. Those days when there were no gadgets, you don't know which direction to go, how to go, what will be the condition and the storms, and then all kinds of aquatic animals, whales and sharks, and my God, Mahamoha, Graha, there will be so many Grahas. That is why it is endless, you can't reach. That way samsara is considered as a sagara, samsara, sagara, nimagna. And that is why Guru, we feel so indebted to the teacher. We are so grateful to the teacher that the word grateful falls short of expressing our respect. Because you would have otherwise never known where is the end of it. Would not have imagined which side is the shore, where to go, which direction. The Guru who brought you, that's a grace, gave your journey a direction. And the boat was just moving hither and thither with the waves and the winds, directionless. Jivatma was directionless. And he or she thought, I am going in the right direction. And it was so deceptive, having gone some miles, the fellow took a turn. He himself doesn't know when I took a turn. And might have come back to the same point after some time. Because there is nothing reference point. Everything is same. What a blessings you have. We have to have a Guru who has shown us the right direction, and not only how to right direction to drive our boat to the shore. Not only shown the direction, but he himself leads the boat. as though you are tagging it out. You know, tagger type boat, you just tag it like the trailer. He takes you to the end. That's grace. That's the blessings. And to have a place to be worthy of love for Guru, that means ever to remain ever connected to Shastra. There are so many Gurus talking so many things on this earth, beginning from Siddha Samadhi, meditation and Prasana Pranayama and Sudarshan Kriya and all kinds of sad Gurus are there, you know. They are called Sadgurus in Sanskrit, but English they write sad Guru. Sadguru English is SAD only. They are all ultimately sad Gurus. They keep you sad. Fellow was sad and continues to be sad. Sadgurus are there. To get the teacher who knows Shastra and who connects me to Shastra and who can unfold the Shastra. It's a great blessing. Anyway, samsara is a sagar because you don't know which direction to go, where to go. In that ocean, you see a wave. It is ocean. When you are standing on a shore and saying a wave is a small quantity of water and the ocean is big quantity, it is ocean only. Manifesting as wave. We say ocean creates wave. Ocean is Ishvara, who has created the wave. And that wave somehow takes itself to be, I am little and small, and the other wave is bigger, and that wave is still bigger, and oh, I am little better, that wave is smaller, etc., etc. The sense, I sense in the wave, if it is placed in the name and form, there is a separation. Then it is created, and the ocean is creator. But if the I sense is placed in its swarupa, water, then there is no creator and nothing created. It is only one non-dual vastu. And so-called created is apparent. It's just a standpoint of view. Wave is a standpoint. What is a standpoint? When I see a limited water rising above the water level, and as though traveling, I call it a wave. But as such, there is nothing wave. There is no ornament. Whatever you touch is gold. Whatever you touch is only water. But that quantity of water in that shape is given a name wave. So it is only name and form that is created. It is only Namarupatmakam Jagat. Ultimately, it is only water which is one non-dual. Therefore, from that fullness, this fullness has come about. Understand? And even when you say has come about, and when you say this is created, that means if at all is a created, accepting creation, any creation, listen this is Shastra Siddhanta. You should know it clearly. Any creation born out of fullness has to be something which is born out of, which is not born out of any vikara or modification. Why? Fullness cannot have any modification. All modifications all vikaras, all changes are only in terms of time and space. Any vikara is a caused vikara. Changes takes place because of a nimitta, not itself. But since it is fullness, there is nothing dual, there is no time, no space. Where is the question of vikara? So vikriya vinasrujate. So the sarjanam or srushti, if at all is accepted, that srushti has to be something that has come about without cause undergoing any modification. Cause has not undergone any modification. Because it cannot undergo any modification. Cause cannot modify because it is limitless. There is no other factor to cause a modification into it. So whatever is there is an apparent, and that cause which causes this creation without modification, that cause is to be called as vivarta upadana karanam. Understand the word vivarta? We have discussed in Tattvabodha. We have discussed partly in Upadeshasar. There are two types of karanam. One parinami, second is vivarta. Parinami means the cause itself undergoes a modification. Our standard example is curd, yogurt created out of milk. Milk undergoes modification, changes. But the change is caused by certain bacteria. So that's a vikari karanam. But gold becoming an ornament doesn't undergo any modification. There is no intrinsic change. The better example would be I creating my dream. The creator I creates a dream without undergoing any intrinsic change. And that is why I can be called as upadana karanam. But what kind of upadana? Vivarta upadana. And any srishti caused by vivarta upadana is apparent only. Srishti is namarupatmakam. Therefore, there is a Shruti Vakya, Vikaro namadeyam mruttike teva satyam. No? That Vikara is only in terms of truth, is only one and non-dual. Mruttike satyam, like a pot and the clay. The clay undergoing modification, there is some modification somewhat, because you put water and needle it and you just make a jelly out of it and then create a pot and etc. There is avastha changes, but clayness doesn't change. So before it was clay, even when you call it a pot, or you call it a flower vase, or whatever you call it, jar or whatever it is clay, and once it is destroyed, it continues to be. Therefore, Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate. This fullness, the perceived Jagat has come out, that is itself is Purnam. We hear two words. World is finite, and also here in this Shruti, world is Purnam. The finitude is only from the standpoint of name and form. From the point of view of substratum, it is limitless. The finitude of the wave is from the standpoint of the name and form. But from the substratum, water, on which the waveness is superimposed, is limitless. Is the entire ocean. It is so-called limitations are only because of upadhi. The name and form gives that limitations. But Swarupataha, water is full. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya, this fullness means this name and form, or this fullness means this world of objects, this world of upadhi, or you can say the apparent world. This apparent world has come about from that fullness, and anything that is apparent is always superimposed on some truth or substrate. So this is adhyasa. Apparent jagat, any adhyasa is called mithya. So this mithya jagat has come about from fullness, and mithya cannot stand on its own. Apparent means that which doesn't exist on its own. Wave is apparent because the so-called waveness, the form and the name is because of water. Without water, there cannot be wave. Without gold, there cannot be ring, hand ring or finger ring or earrings or any ring. There cannot be necklace. There cannot be bangle. Mithya doesn't stand, never stands on its own legs. It exists on a borrowed existence. And that one which lends its existence to mithya is a real existence, is a real vastu. So gold is a vastu, water is a vastu. Therefore, this mithya also is purnam. Jagat is also purnam. Both statements are true. The world is limited and world is limitless. When I say limited, it is from the standpoint of upadhi, standpoint of nama rupa. When I say limitless, I say from the standpoint of substratum. All the waves are limited. Yes, from the standpoint of name and form. And all the waves are limitless from the standpoint of water H2O. Understand? So, the so-called limited world ultimately is limitless. Okay? Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. From that fullness that is Brahman, this fullness, the apparent creation has come about. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Adaya means bringing out. What? Full. From the fullness. Fullness alone remains. Removing the names and forms, what remains is gold. It was gold, now it is gold. When it created 100,000 ornaments, only names and form have been added. There is an apparent creation, apparent division, and you remove that apparent aspect, the truth which was there continues to be there, that wanton gold, and therefore Purnamevavashishyate, bringing out this fullness removing this fullness from fullness, Brahman, fullness alone remains. It was gold, now gold, remove Nama Rupa, gold alone. That value addition, what was done was nothing but value addition, and what is removed is also value. And therefore it is said, now just connecting you with Gita, na jayate mriyate va kadachit. It is never born and it never dies. Why it is never born and never dies? What is born is wave. What dies is wave. And wave is nothing but few shapes and the names. What is not born is water. And what never dies is water. So by Swarupatah, I, the individual, the Jiva, I am called Jiva only because of identification with the name and form. That water is called wave only because of identification with the name and form. And to that wave, this Upadesha is given. You are not subject to birth and death. When the teacher says you are never born, you never die, that word you doesn't mean the quantity. You means H2O, water. So also you means pure consciousness. Consciousness which identifies with itself with body-mind complex and becomes limited is Jiva. To that Jiva it is told, with which you have identified is Idam. You are pure consciousness, limitless consciousness. And that is why Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishtya. Therefore, colloquially, they say this world is like dream. Dream world comes out and dream world resolves back into the same person from whom it came out. And if the person was as, is and will be the same. No change. Okay? This is why they said Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. What remains is infinity. That is why it remains. Remaining, bringing out, these are all apparent. Since the creation is apparent, dissolution, pralaya is also. Since the creation, when I say apparent, it is only of name and forms. What is dissolved is only name and form. Imagine a motionless ocean. Ocean which is not in motion. Means ocean which is free from waves. Purnamadaya. All the waves are removed. What remains is waveless ocean, which is H2O, nothing. In these words, think over, and this is explanation of Purnamadaha. The whole Vedanta is, that's all. You have to understand this. This itself is a Upanishad in a way. Khandartha Bodhaka Vakya. It reveals you as a full and complete person. And of course, the next mantra also, Ishavasya, means almost the same. It is talking about non-duality. And from tomorrow, we shall study the Upanishad mantra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om.